Welcome back to Handy Handy. My last video was part one of taking apart the oil lamp. Today what I'm going to do is start working on the pump. A new one cost me about 55 bucks, which I don't mind spending, truthfully. But at the same time, if I can keep this thing authentic, it'd be nice. So what I'm going to do today is work on the pump a little bit and then do some spot test cleaning on the oil lamp parts with denatured alcohol, and make sure the paint doesn't come off and doesn't crackle anymore. And if that happens, then you're going to see a cleaning sequence. Alright, so let's get to this. So what I think happened is that this locking ring here is supposed to lock in the bushing, an oil piece of fabric, and this like spring here to hold the bushing in so the pump can work. It looks like that ring popped out from in there, so I'm going to see if I can find a creative way to keep it in there, and the pump may actually work. Let's see. Alright. Time to see if this will spin and not make too much noise. So, wish me luck. Look at that. Fully restored. I'm so happy. Today's a hard day, guys. Very hard day. It's working! It's working! My mom's looking over me today. And Grandma would be happy. And Grandpa would be even more happier. So this is why the motor wasn't working. See this outer ring here? It had popped out. And I guess at one point in time there was something that were in these grooves that held that piece in, that held the bushing and held the spring. It's a square spring right here. So I'm going to take it back apart. I'm going to clean all these parts out, make sure they're perfectly smooth with no debris on them. And then what I'm planning to do is I'm going to put some wire across these points all the way around and then tighten it down so that piece doesn't pop off anymore. And this pump will keep working for as long as I have it. So, yeah, I'm very excited. It's hard to see in here, but in here are little pieces of the casting, it's on the tip of the screwdriver now, that I think were bent in on these bend ends to hold down the whole assembly. It makes me think that that's what broke. So you're going to see how I use a piece of copper wire to make sure that this all stays in there. Alright, let's get going on it. So I just noticed that the oil retention piece that's made out of felt is full of little pieces of metal. So I want to clean it out so it's nice and clean, and then I'll re-lubricate it back up and it should be good to go. as you can see, it's a lot cleaner now. So I'm trying to figure out what type of oil this was inside the electric motor. I'm thinking it's going to be the same type of motor that's in oil that's inside a compressor, I would imagine. So I may actually run to the Home People and see if they sell compressor lubrication oil, and I'll fill this bad boy back up with the same stuff. Alright, let's put this thing back together. Oh, actually what I'm going to do is I have some oil left in the cap of this thing. I'm going to relubricate the felt back up with that. So you see right now it's all lubed back up. That's to keep the bushing all nice and lubricated. Let me zoom in so you guys can see what I'm doing. This is the spring, and the spring is actually the spring here is a square spring, the spring steel, and it actually has a groove that is kind of, you can say here, it's kind of circular. So I'm thinking that that's part of, you know, what holds the bushing in as such. So I got to make sure I get that groove in the right part. And there she goes. That's what it looks like fully assembled. Now you can see the cutouts where I think what they did is they pushed or bent that material to hold the outer spring wash, or the outer washer. See this outer washer right here? Kept it in place to keep the spring down, to keep this bushing down so it all spins right. My idea is I think I have some copper wire that's exactly the thickness of the thing, and I'll wrap it around it and do basically the same thing. So that's what I'm going to try to do now. So here I'm just using some copper wire that I got at the hardware store. It's 100 feet, it's 0.51 millimeters, or 24 gauge. So this is what I did, and it looks like it's gonna work. So I'm running out of battery on the camera, so I'm gonna pause here and put it to charge.